Yes, everyone. So I just want to give you a quick brief on to why I started Mason Aurelius. The main reason why I started Mason Aurelius is because I have a natural, interest in fashion. So I like to, I like to say I like to dress well. You understand? And I like to pick certain fits for when I'm going out with my friends, family, and stuff like that. And there's a certain way I like to dress, and sometimes when I go into certain shops they wouldn't have the certain style that I'm looking for. So I thought to myself, you know what, let me create a clothing brand and bring my sort of dress sense of what I'm looking for. Sorry, it is so hot in here. I need to put the windows down because if I don't put the windows down, boy, I'm gonna be sweating. But yeah, so that's the reason why I kind of started Mason Aurelius. Then also at the same time, I've had different business ventures that I started before, which hasn't really quite taken off. I still got one other business venture that I'm still working at, but hopefully that will take off in the next few months. And I thought to myself, why not start a clothing brand? I know the clothing brand is very very competitive after conducting my for research, but I have belief in what I want Mason Aurelius to be in the next 5 to 10 years, and the brand identity of this brand is second to none. As I said previously in my episodes, I'm gonna make another video talking about Mason Aurelius brand identity, which will be in depth. But for now, I just want to talk to you about why I started Mason Aurelius, and without how can I put it this way? It is, and to be fair, to be honest with you, right, I never expected myself to start a clothing brand. I never thought that I would start a clothing brand, and the reason being is because I didn't think I had the capabilities to start one. I didn't think I had when you think about clothing brand, you're thinking about designing, you're thinking about production, you're thinking about all those things. Me personally, I'm not really a great designer. However, I know what I want my clothes to look like. So although I'm not a great designer, I know kind of what I want my clothes to look like. So what I tend to do, right, is I get like a sketch pad. I'll just sketch out what I want my designs to look like, and I use Chat GBT to generate me an image from it. And yes, I use Chat GBT. I also got Adobe Illustrator. I was using that before by myself to design, but one thing I've learned about business is it's all about speed. Can you be quick in what you do? And I knew that if I was to use Adobe Illustrator, it's gonna take me, s- you know, a s- you know, it's gonna take me longer to produce what I need to produce, and also at the same time, if I was gonna pay a designer to design my clothes, it'll cost a lot. And me as a startup as a clothing brand owner, you want to keep costs at a minimum. You understand? So that is why I use a sketch pad to sketch out what I want my clothes to look like. Then I'll I'll give a prompt to GBT. This is how I want my t-shirts to look like. This is how I want my hats to look like. This is how I want my tracksuit to look like. And then they'll come up with an image. And if I don't like the image, then I will refine the prompt a bit, and then until the image comes out the way I want it. So I think the way society is going now, AI is a big thing. So you've got to implement it into your business. I think within the next 10, not even next 10 years, I think within the next 5 to 10 years, definitely within the next 5 years, a lot of companies are going to be using AI stuff for their systems because it's just quicker, it's more efficient, and you get things done at a quicker rate. So yeah, so that's why I really started at Mason Redis, and also at the same time, I want this brand to be global. Like, I just don't want it to be known in the UK. I want this Mason Aurelius clothing brand to be global. I want it to be known in France, Italy, China, Germany, America, Brazil, Colombia. I want this brand to take over. You understand where I'm coming from? So it's gonna take time. It's going to take time, and that's the vision is what's keeping me going. Without the vision, where you're gonna go, you know. So you gotta, even when things are not going well, you've just gotta stay committed to the vision. The vision is what's gonna take you there. Without the vision, you're just gonna be up and down, up and down, up and down. The vision is meant to keep you strong, stay steadfast, and keep pushing through even when things are not going well. So yeah, and I have no doubts that Mason Aurelius is going to be a global brand. I have no doubts whatsoever. For me, I can see it already. I can see people buying, ordering from all over the world. You know, I can see, you know, Mason Aurelius being in different stores in different countries. I can see Mason Aurelius being in the fashion weeks. I can see Mason Aurelius creating its own fashion week. You know, so these are the things that I've envisioned for my clothing brand, and it's not gonna happen overnight. I know that, but I know that as long as I keep working step by step, it's gonna get there. You know, it's gonna be a household clothing brand within the next 25, 50, 75, 100 years. You know, this Mason Aurelius brand is gonna still be here when the Lord calls me home. I'm being honest with you. This is how I see the vision. This is the vision for the brand. That the brand is still standing when the Lord calls me home. So it's all about working hard, working towards that goal. You know. So yeah, and also for me, I just wanted to be able to create something that I know that will last long. It's a personal thing for me as well. I just want to be able to, you know, I've started something and I've created something, and it's, you know, it's worldwide. It's worldwide, you know. So yeah, so that's the reason why I started Mason Radius. It's not going to be an easy task, as you know, with businesses, but I have the vision, I have the mindset, I have the discipline, and I have the knowledge, and I know how to get it done. And my aim is for the next 2 to 3 years. You're looking back at this video and you're seeing the difference. You know, I'm doing this. I'm recording this in my car. You know, hopefully in the next 2 3 years, I'm recording in my office, and then I can look back and be like, you know, see where it started. But yeah, so that's it. So that's why I started Mason Aurelius. And listen, guys, just be part of the community, be part of the journey, because it's going to be good. You're gonna love it, and it's a meaningful brand. When the vision of brand identity comes out, you understand why I've started it, and you understand the meaning behind it, and you're gonna want to be part of it, you know, because it will improve your mindset as a person, you know. Because with I don't want to go too deep into it, but when the brand identity video comes out, you'll understand why I chose that name, you know. So if you haven't already, get subscribing, because there's going to be so many videos that I'm going to be dropping every week. You know, I'm going to try to drop a video every day if I can. If not, at least 2 to 3 episodes every week, you know, so that I can keep you guys updated on what's going on behind the scenes, and, you know, the journey as well. But yeah, Mason Redis to the world. I'm back. Subscribe. Stay tuned.